matchup here. And then what I think the Broncos need to accomplish as far as points, rushing, passing yards need to be to beat the Eagles, to knock off the champs from the throne. But before we do that, I want to talk about UGLY. Ugly games, man. How do the Broncos win an ugly game? That's kind of been their Achilles heel over the last couple of years. The Sean and Bo duo has shown us some signs of life, but then also kind of ripped our hearts out in moments, not being able to beat the good teams, not being able to beat many teams in one-score games. And that's what you're kind of looking at. The NFL's full of one-score games. The NFL's full of ugly football games, and especially early on here, we're starting to turn the page into October, but you're still trying to figure out a few things about who you are as a team. If this thing gets ugly, I don't know that the Broncos can win that kind of football game, especially on the road against a team that specializes in ugly.
That's what they do. And not only is that what they do, because there's certain things, while maybe that's just what they have to do, no, they kind of want to do this. They want to. Now, are they playing possum? Are the Eagles a team that can flip a switch and then all of a sudden Barkley's got 150 yards and A.J. Brown's got 120 and a touchdown and Devontae Smith has 120 and a touchdown? Like, I'm not sure this year without Kellen Moore as their OC. So I think they win ugly by design. So if you're going ugly by design, that's not the way Sean Payton wants to roll. We asked the question, what's one word to describe Sean Payton? Well, it's certainly not ugly.
No.
That means you're beautiful, Sean. Size 12 Jordans. So, like, yeah, can you get muddy? That's one of my don't be that guys, especially if you have a nice truck like you do. If you have a nice truck like you do, don't be afraid to drive it through the mud.
Yeah.
Right? Get it dirty. My Jeep is never clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it says mud kicker on the side.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be dirty. The Broncos, are they, maybe a little prissy in that department? Are they they're too sharp with what they do? Or can you get muddy? Can you get dirty? Can you get grimy? Can you grind this thing out against the Eagles, likely on the ground? Can you win a street fight? I'm not sure. We don't have any evidence to say that they can. So I don't have the confidence to come on the airwaves and say, yeah, they can do that. And I'm the guy that said Super Bowl 60's theirs until it's not. Right. But I don't have the confidence to say that they can win ugly. I need to see them do it. Because for your customer's sake, for your daughter's sake, like I think just for Broncos Country's sake, going to the playoffs, is everything going to be perfect?
No,
going
absolutely
to
not.
the playoffs, is everything going to be clean?
No.
Or are you going to have to get dirty? You're going to have to get grimy.
Ugly. Yeah.
You're going to have to get your hands dirty. And that's what this is. This is blue collar all the way. Grab the lunch pail. Grab the hard hat. Sean Payton, let's go. I want Sean Payton with that flat blade shovel out there. I got the wheelbarrow. And he goes, F&A.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, where were you two when I was doing mulch last weekend?
I don't know where Sean was.
This is why I agree with you. But I'm nervous to say, like, they got to go in and win an ugly game. That's how you beat Philly. You beat them with ugly football. Because
well, what are you saying then?
I don't think you do that. I've watched the last 21 Eagles games and them play ugly in about 18 of those and win the football game. It wasn't ugly in the Super Bowl, and they were kicking the crap out of the Chiefs. That was actually beautiful.
That was awesome.
But I'm very hesitant to go, yep, you're going to go into Philadelphia, you're going to do what they do, but you're going to do it better than them. One, they're Philadelphia. You're making the trip to the East Coast. It's an 11 o'clock game. They're 1-6 in the last 7 games that they've done this scenario, traveling and playing in that early time slot. So I can't sit here with what I know about the Broncos and what I know about the Eagles and say the Broncos are in a position to beat the Eagles at what they do. I just don't think that's going to happen. So how do you beat the Eagles? Well, they've been outgained by 327 yards this season. That's about, thanks to my iPhone, 81 100. Yards a game.
Yeah,
almost 82 yards a game. That's not nothing. It's a pretty significant number, right?
Yeah.
82 yards a game.
What's more significant? 4-0.
Yeah, that matters as well. So this is what I'm thinking. It is going to be a dogfight, right? You're going to have to trade some haymakers, and there's going to be some moments where we go, oh, the Broncos are on the ropes right here. Can they counter and punch back? If they can, I think they have to win their kind of game. You got to score some touchdowns. You got to be really good in the red zone. The Broncos are. The Eagles are really good too. We'll get to that a little later.
Yeah.
But you have to win in the red zone. Not 3, 6. Every single time. You need another 180 yards rushing. It was 186 last week between the running backs, Bo Nix and Marvin Mims. You got to do that again. And it might be closer to that one, it was 186, might be closer to that 200 if you're actually going to go there and get a win. Bo doesn't have to throw for 326. They don't have to win with 500 and whatever it was yards of offense, 12 yards of offense, but Bo's got to throw for 250, 270, something like that. So I'm talking about a 250-yard passer, 180 yards rushing as a unit, a group, and that can include Bo and Marvin or whoever you want to have run the football. And I think you got to score 27 points because what you said, I just don't see it. I don't see the Broncos going to Philly and winning 2017. I don't see the Broncos going to Philly and winning 24-21. I don't have any evidence to show me they can do that, and especially against the top-tier team. But you go there and the defense shows up,
right?
And they show out, and you shut down Saquon Barkley. Dallas Goedert isn't just streaking across the middle of the field. A.J. Brown's thinking about what tweet he's going to send after the game rather than the defender that's in front of him. And Jalen Hurts has to throw the football. Denver can win a game 27-14, 27-17, but they can't win 21-20. 21-18,
21-20. Yeah, just 21-20.
I just don't think they can do that.
Okay.
So you go score 27 points, you rush for 180, 190 yards, Bo throws for 250, 260. That's how you beat the Eagles.
When's the last time Vic Fangio gave up 27 points?
Oh, I don't know.
I
don't know.
Without a special teams touchdown or something like that. Like that Vic Fangio defense, you're not asking the impossible, to be sure.
Oh, I know it's a very tough challenge. But I think beating them at what they do well is almost impossible to do.
Okay. I would say this.
Actually, literally impossible to do.
If you could rope-a-dope these guys, because they're going to want to keep it close. They're going to want to grind you down. And they don't care. The punt to them, yeah, whatever, we're punting. They don't care about that. The 3 and out, do you know how much sweat on the brow of Jalen Hurts there is when they go 3 and out? 0% sweat. Never let him see a sweat. Hurts doesn't sweat. The team doesn't sweat. They just have this mindset of like, we're going to be there at the end and we're going to find a way to beat you, whether that's a blocked kick.
Yeah, thanks for
Darren
bringing that
Rizzi. Darren Rizzi. We're going to talk about that on Friday when Coach Rizzi talks to us chuckleheads. But I look at this and I go, man, I don't see how you can run away with this game.
Real quick, to your point, they only gave up 27 points twice last year. Haven't yet this year. It's only 4 weeks, but
yeah,
twice last year.
Twice last year. That's it. So 27. You want them to do something that they only have given up 2 times in the last 365 days.
They have a better shot of that than beating them at what they do. You know how many teams have beat the Philadelphia Eagles in an ugly game in the last 22 games? One.
Yeah. And it was Tampa Bay, right?
I think so.
It was Tampa Bay, Kev, right?
Washington.
Oh, Washington. Yeah, that's what you told me yesterday. Yeah, Washington.
Kevin has all the stats for Washington.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you're
Big
obsessed.
guy.
He's obsessed with Jaden Daniels. So, like,
just got to make sure I have the second best quarterback of that draft class underway.
All right. So Washington did it. All right. Well, they're different this year. The Eagles are different this year. How can the Broncos best beat them? I do not believe you're going to run away with this. That'd be great. You know what I want Sunday morning? I want it easy like Sunday morning. Give me that Commodores, girl, or the Faith and War remake. Like, I want easy like Sunday morning. I want it to be a Broncos 27-10. Man, Jalen Hurts couldn't do anything, and this Broncos defense was all over him. And at the same time, Vic Fangio's banged-up unit can't stop Bo Nix. I think that's a complete fantasy. Complete fantasy. I did the coffee bet with you. I think I lost the last one, right? Yeah, because I did like rushing attempts.
Oh, yeah, rushing versus
Let's
passing.
go coffee bet on 27 points.
Broncos over or under?
I'm going to take the under. You take the over. Okay? They get to 27, then you win.
See, I
don't think they get to 27
I'm
points.
seeing a bunch of people like, oh, man, how are they going to have that good of an offensive outing? So how are they going to explain to me how they beat the Eagles in an ugly game. I just gave you what I need to see. How they scored 27 points is they rush for 180 yards. Bo throws for 250. You are successful in the red zone with touchdowns instead of field goals. That's how you score 27 points. That's the only way in my mind they go to Philly and win. If it's a one-score game, a drag it out, knock it out type of football game, the Broncos aren't winning that game.
Then you're not picking the Broncos. Like, seriously, 27 points is almost more difficult than winning. Like, you can win 20-19. Math. I was like, what's less than 20? I got 19 different things to choose from. What am I going to pick? 20-1. I stand on one cod. Like, yeah, it's going to be really difficult. But the Broncos seem to be up to the challenge. They've got some momentum now. And what's worse, I thought about this driving in. Listen to Mike Evans make fun of me, which is fine. I'll be all right. He'll be all right. What's sad? This is really sad. And I wanted to really emphasize this Tuesday. We should have enjoyed that game more. Not because they beat up on slappies, because the Bengals are total slappies, okay? Don't get it twisted. They beat up on a terrible team, and they won going away, and it should have been 45-3 or whatever you want to say. But I have a feeling there are people out there, and I'm not even talking about the Bo Nix haters, because I've got no time for those people. I think that there's people waiting to see this 2-week sample size. You have a terrible team, you have an undefeated team. What do you look like? You beat the terrible team handily. It wasn't even close. You're the far superior.
No doubt.
But I have a feeling that there was this lack of the proper level of excitement. Broncos just won a good one. They just won a good one on Monday night, and they did it the way they should have. We should celebrate that. But I have a feeling too many people were waiting of like, well, let's see this Philadelphia game. So if they stink up the joint, then they're, oh, God, we're going to get a flood of messages of like, see, you can beat the bad teams, but you can't beat the good teams, which, other than Tampa Bay last year, you're not beating teams with winning records. Well, is there more winning than 4-0 after 4 games?
Can't beat that.
They're 100%. So they're undefeated. Go in there, beat that team, start changing that narrative. Mace talked about it yesterday on Orange and Blue Today on Denver Sports YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Where it's like, it has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. And it could start in Philadelphia where you're going up against the good teams, maybe even some of the best in the league. And maybe the Chargers are in that category and you just barely lost. But instead of barely losing, the tide has to change where you are maybe not 11-0 like the Chiefs were last year in one-score games, but you can't be what you are currently. I know the Tennessee game was a one-score game.
It's like 1 and something, right?
Yeah, you're 1-2 basically now because you were in one-score games that you lost. Yeah. But in a large sample size, this league is too tough to think that you're going to run away with anything, not just against Philadelphia. So that means you've got to be better at one-score games, especially if you're a playoff team, because the playoffs probably going to be a one-score game.
So we saw the Broncos start to figure some stuff out last week, and I get it, against the Bengals. They can't control that. It's not their fault that Joe Burrow got hurt and they suck now. They give up 22 points a game. Now, before it took the Buccaneers a couple quarters to get going, but they scored 25, 26 points. They give up 22 a game. Can the Broncos offense not get you an extra 5 points right there? That's a couple field goals or a touchdown. You don't have the confidence in the Broncos offense to get to that 22 that they give up and then score one more time after that. I don't think it's that crazy where I'm at. I think it's crazy that people think they're going to go beat Philly at what they do best. You guys are severely underestimating who the Philadelphia Eagles are as a team. I know you're not the biggest Jalen guy. I know you respect the hell out of what the Eagles do.
Right.
But it's crazy for me to think anybody believes the Broncos go into Philly and win a one-score game. I just don't see that happening.
So they've got to put it on.
They have to do
them.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
And it's not like I'm not saying they're going to win 27-0. I'm saying they win 27-20. I'm saying they win 27-17, something along those lines where they're in control of the game. We see more of Bo on the offensive end than we do Jalen and Saquon on the offensive end.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying is your offense is going to have so much success that in a way you will make Philadelphia one-dimensional.
As much as you can, because they're not going to, you said it yesterday, they're not going to go away from Saquon.
Well, they're not going to go away from Saquon, and they're also going to tell you what they're doing, right? And you jotted down the numbers because I closed the window. When you are under center or from the pistol, they run it 81% of the time.
Yep.
When they're in the shotgun, 70%. When they're in the shotgun, they're throwing it 80% of the time.
No, you had it right. Sorry.
71%.
81% of the time in the pistol, they're running.
Okay.
70% in the shotgun, they're throwing.
They're throwing. So there's your tell. There's your tell with this team. They're going to make it easy for you to read. So Vance Joseph, if they turn one-dimensional, are you prepared for that sort of attack? You're prepared for Saquon Barkley. You're prepared for some play action. They don't do play action very much anymore this year. They're among the worst. I think it's 6th worst in the NFL right now. So because
That's
of that,
weird because you have Saquon.
I know, and because you should RPO this thing all day long.
You have a running quarterback and the best running back in the league.
Well, again, why aren't they trusting Jalen Hurts to throw more? I don't know. Maybe it's because he's not an advanced passer. And yes, it happened against Kansas City, and that's great because I can't stand the Chiefs. So thank you, Jalen Hurts. But this week, I got something a little different to say to Jalen Hurts. Welcome, Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper. They've entered the chat.
By the way, the other side of this, the Eagles only have 5 sacks on the year. They're without Nolan Smith. Vic Fangio said Jalen Carter's trying to play through an injury right now. Bo doesn't take sacks, right? Or not supposed to. Doesn't that advantage Broncos offense? Again, the Broncos have an opportunity here. We said last week they got to start showing us who they are offensively for week 4. It's week 5 now. You're supposed to know who you are after this week. If you go and score 14 points and lose 17-14, do we have any idea? Last week wouldn't mean jack if that's what they show up and do this week.
Right. Last week won't mean jack if they show up and get waxed by the Eagles. If you show up and you play close and it's a tight game and you happen to lose because the Eagles are great at one-score games, then you could say, all right, they were close against the Colts, they're close against the Chargers, they're close against the Eagles. I know it doesn't count except horseshoes and hand grenades, but what are the Broncos? What are they? After 4 weeks, they're not a very good team yet, but they have a capability of being a very good team. They're not the elite tier. That's Buffalo. But where are they? And this is a great test. At a conference, but with the Super Bowl champions, I can't wait. And I think it's going to be I think you have to somehow, some way, we're both asking for impossible things. You want the impossible of scoring more than 27 points. And I think Google Gmail's like, you can tell Cecil doesn't bet on sports because it's 26 now. Yeah, I don't bet on sports. I run a small business and I work in radio.
Yeah, right.
I think I got a bunch of money to throw around on sports gambling.
Also, Google Gmail name. You couldn't come up with something better than that? Come on, man.
But I'm like, okay, yeah, you're asking that, which seems impossible. I'm asking for the Broncos to beat the Eagles at what they do best.
Which is literally impossible.
Which is impossible.
Mm-hmm. We're both asking for very difficult things. But you're going to Philly, playing an 11 a.m. start against the champs. It's not going to be easy. This isn't the Joe Burrow-less Bengals with Jake Browning and a pissed-off Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's not who this is. This is the real deal. This is the top tier of the top tier. There's nobody better in the NFL right now than the Philadelphia Eagles. And I honestly think, like, to feel like you can go in there and do that, man, you're foolish. You're misguided in what you saw last week against the Bengals. Because as good as it was, there were still multiple things that needed to be better. And they haven't corrected those.
So
things
you have more confidence in the Broncos offense than I do.
Yeah.
Basically is what we're saying, is what we're getting down to. And you called me foolish.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Great. I get as offended as you like, right? I'm offended over here. I'm sitting here. I'm offended. Google Gmail said I cry like a child when he goes at me. Okay, good for you, bud.
Yeah.
I'll just say this. I believe that Vic Fangio's going to pull out all the stops for Bo Nix. I believe the Broncos are going to have to get ugly in this one. And I believe the Broncos are going to have I would rather have a Broncos with a bloody-knuckled, like, street fight, win or lose, than thinking that they can run away with it. Because I just don't think they can.
And look, if we get here on Monday and they win an ugly game, I'm going to go, wow. See,
but if they run away with it, I'm going to be like, wow, you're right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be coffee for both of us.
And we'd feel better about who we think they can be either way that they win this football game. Because you go, oh, you won ugly? Maybe they're going to start to figure out these one-score games. Oh, you won big? Well, there's not a team in this league that can slow you down.
Right. No, a win would be fantastic for the bad feelings that we had after the Colts and Chargers games. A win would be fantastic. I had them 3-2 after 5, but I had them losing to the Chargers and losing to the Eagles. Well, they did one of those things. If they could beat the Eagles and still be 3-2 after 5, we're right on track for those 13 glorious wins that I want this year for this team. Because if you don't get 13, you are underachieving. This team is too good not to win double-digit games, and I ain't talking about 10, girl. That's what they did last year. Why are we talking about old stuff? The new stuff, the exciting stuff, is this team marching forward towards a deeper playoff run.
They already lost the game that we thought they wouldn't lose. You're not supposed to lose, right? Even though it was on the road at Indy. Now you got to go get one that you're not supposed to win.
Right.
And that's this one. And if you look at the schedule in front of you, there's a bunch of you're supposed to wins until your bye week. So if you want to make good on that Colts loss, this is the best chance you're going to get until we're in November, until post-Thanksgiving. So I know what I'm asking. I know that it's a little ridiculous for me to request that the Broncos go out and just put it on the Eagles offensively. But if they're going to win, This is the only way I think that they can do it. I want to get to Sean Payton, one more thing that he said this week. And they're going to talk today. They're getting practicing now, and we'll hear from him later. Cecil will be down there at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. You and I have talked about Riley Moss. You and I have questions about Riley Moss. But Sean Payton apparently does not.
I thought he played outstanding. You know, we just finished going through the game with the team. He had one of his better games. He responded. I mean, that's a good group that we were playing against. The one thing, and I said this a year ago, that's a lonely position at times, but he is such a competitor. I thought he was fantastic.
Fantastic, he uses. Outstanding was the word he used at the beginning there. All right, I know he had a couple plays. He had the pass interference again. He's still doing that incomplete thing, which I cannot stand.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can say fantastic at all for Riley Moss. Maybe better, I'm willing to go to, but not fantastic or
So
outstanding.
the advanced data doesn't do anything for you with Riley Moss? Riley Moss is having a better year than anybody wants to say.
No. I don't ignore
No,
it.
he's the second most targeted corner in the league, and they're like, yeah, guy sucks.
I don't ignore the numbers, but I trust my eyeballs too.
Even when it says that we have GPS data.
Why is he out of position?
He plays trail technique. It's a technique thing. Like, if you wanted to ask him to play differently, we could say the same thing about Pat Surtain. They play a lot of off coverage where they're going to let you make your move, and then I'm going to run to where you're going. I'm going to let you commit. Some corners, and Surtain could do this for sure if he wanted to. Surtain could just play you straight up. You're not going to trick me with your route. And now they're playing off, let you make your move, and then trailing with the receiver. And with the GPS data, I feel like I'm on the only Riley Moss defender here because the data says he's the second tightest coverage in the league. So I know the eyes don't look good. I know the incomplete thing. I don't like it.
That's annoying.
I know that I might be biased because Riley Moss is a really cool dude. Really good dude. Good to talk to, and that might be throwing off my opinion as well.
I'm not saying he's
a
turd. I'm not saying he's a bum.
No, you know what's cool about this team? Let me think about it before I say it. I should actually think